Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Shiv Kumar News. Here I am only reading the Hindu newspaper. My purpose and aim is improving my knowledge and English only. The thing else therefore will support and guide me. This is our today first article. Gusty India ages past New Zealand to claim ICC champion trophy. Mission accomplished. KL Rahul and Ravindra Jadeja celebrate after securing India's trim in Dubai on Sunday. Article written by S. Deepak Raghav, Dubai. They came, they stayed, they conquered. India's entered the ICC Champion Trophy as firm favourite, and in a nail-biting final, the men in blue held their nerve to edge past New Zealand by 4 wickets with an over to spare at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium on Sunday, chasing a target of 252. Skipper Rohit Sharma lead from the front with a sparkling 76 to get his side off to a blazing start. Rohit and his deputy Shubman Gill stitching a 105-run opening partnership to put India in cruise control. The spunky Kui through staged a remarkable comeback through their spinners, chipping away with wickets at regular intervals and keeping the contest alive. The atmosphere inside the stadium bathed in a sea of blue was tense as India neared the finish line. Every run was voice fiercely cheered, while every dismissal was met with deadly silence. However, middle order batter Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul showed composure in the face of intense pressure of fetch India's record third champion trophy. This is our second article about delimitation. Delimitation. DMK MP's minister to visit seven states to muster support. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Afghan Stalin with DMK's MP TR Balu, Kenny Mozi and others at the meeting in Chennai on Sunday. Article written by K. Kolappan, Chennai. As part of its ongoing effort to build a momentum against a likely population-based delimitation exercise, the ruling DMK in Tamil Nadu had decided to send minister and MP to seven states to muster support from other political parties for its effort. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin had written to the Chief Minister of the Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Telangana, Odisha, West Bengal and Punjab, and leader of the political party that delimitation based on the census may hurt these states in safeguarding their representation in the Lok Sabha. On Sunday, a meeting of parties MP chaired by Mr. Stalin decided to work closely not only with the MPs of the India bloc but also with all those who are committed to safeguarding democracy to protect the rights of the state in the delimitation exercise, which is likely to begin next year. The MPs will highlight the issue in the parliament session beginning Monday. Kenny Moji, Lok Sabha member, will coordinate the effort. A resolution adopted in the meeting alleged that the BJP-led union government, which was imposing a three-language formula to introduce Hindi in school education while denying Tamil Nadu its share in allocation of fund, was not given to proper answer to the question on delimitation. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has taken up the issue as he has realized the problem faced by the southern state. We will stand by the Chief Minister of his effort to protect the number of Lok Sabha seats in Tamil Nadu, it said. Closing the gender gap in the higher judiciary. Article written by Jaina Kothari, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court of India. We have to ensure that the women's appointment to the Supreme Court and High Court are so normalized that it does not seem out of the ordinary at all. Women in law have seen great progress over the last 100 years in India. The first woman lawyer, Cornelia Sorabji, was entitled to practice in 1924. Since then, the number of the women lawyer has increased. Several women have been designated senior advocate, and there have been many women judges in the lawyer judiciary. Inequality at the top. However, there remains class ceiling for women in the higher judiciary. The share of women judges in the High Court is only 14.27%, 109 out of 764 in 8 high courts. The number of women judges is limited to just one. The High Court of Uttarakhand, Meghalaya and Tripura have no women judge. The Allahabad High Court, which is the largest high court in the country with 79 judges at present, has only 3 women judges. 2% not only in there a disproportionately low number of women judges in the High Court, but they are also appointed later than men. The average age of appointment of women is 51.8 years, but for women it is 53 years. Thus women judges do not reach position of seniority. Out of 25th High Court, only the Gujarat High Court has a woman chief justice. The number for the Supreme Court are much worse, with only 2 women judges serving at present: Justice V Nagarthana and Justice Bela Trivedi. With Justice Bela Trivedi due to retire in June 2025, the court will be left with just 1 woman judge. The last woman judge appointed to the Supreme Court was in 2021. Since then, 28 judges have been appointed to the Supreme Court, and not a single of them is woman. Over the last 75 years, the Supreme Court has elevated 9 men from the bar directly to the Supreme Court, but only 1 woman has been elevated directly from the bar to the court. Many justifications are given for not appointing women. It is said that there are not enough eligible women candidate, not enough women with seniority, or that women do not want to become judge. All of these is merely top dressing. Well, when the underlying the factor is one of the deep inequality. To borrow the analogy of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, one of men cause for the exclusion of the women from the higher judiciary is deep rooted and systematic inequality, where women are also as the inferior within the legal profession. Women lawyer nominated for judgeship face heightened scrutiny. Far from compromising on merit, women are almost always required to prove merit more than men. We also have the collegium system of appointment, which is opaque and non-transparent. There are no clearly stated criteria for eligibility or merit, and there is no transparency in the process. This also work against women. The collegium almost always comprises men, and little or no effort is taken to get name of meritorious women lawyer or elevation. This is not the only hurdle. Even when names of women are recommended by the collegium, women are disproportionately not confirmed by the governments. In 2029, women names were recommended by the collegium for the appointment to the High Court, but were not confirmed. Of these, five were the only names to be rejected. This year, as we celebrate International Women Day and 75 year of the Supreme Court, we need a transformation of our court. Constitutional court have to be gender equal in the true sense. There where women are working, serving, and leading in equal measure, especially on the bench. Especially on the bench. Step toward equality. Women's representation in the judiciary is key to ensuring that court represents their citizens and down sound judgment. Having an equal number of women on the bench will enhance the legitimacy of the court and give a signal that our judiciary is inclusive and representative of the people whose lives they affect. First, the collegium could frame a transparent process and provide clear criteria for appointment. This must include process for lawyer to express interest in being considered for appointment, such as through application. There must be clear criteria based on the highest standards of excellence and integrity, and a specified time frame during which the recommendation he be made. Second, there has to be a focus on gender diversity while making appointment. Diversity and merit are not contradictory. Rather, in a pluralistic society such as ours, diversity makes the judiciary more representative, thus fostering impartiality and enhancing the moral legitimacy of the institution. There is at present a clear consideration of the state-wise representation of judge as well as of caste and religion. Gender diversity also need to be taken into account to ensure that at least one third of our higher judiciary, if not half, is composed of women. This will mandate the appointment of a competent, independent, and impartial judiciary capable of upholding constitutionalism and the rule of the law in the country through a process that ensure selection slowly based on the merit base, encourage diversity in the range of persons appointed so as to enhance the public confidence in the institution. Most important, gender balance need to be a stated objective of the judiciary in making appointment. Justice Indra Banerjee, a former judge of the Supreme Court, famously said in one of her interviews that he did not want any fanfare when she was appointed just because she was a woman. We have to ensure that women's appointment to the Supreme Court and High Court are also normalized, that it does not seem out of the ordinary at all. Second chance, Iran has reason to the bury of Trump's dialogue proposal. It was Donald Trump who sabotaged the 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action JCPOA, better known as Iran nuclear deal, when Mr. Trump, in his first term as president 2017-21, unilaterally withdrew the USA from the agreement in May 2018. Iran was fully compliant with the Mr. Trump then adopted his maximum pressure policy aimed at forcing Iran to renegotiate the deal, a move which Tehran rebuffed. Last week, Mr. Trump said he has sent a letter to Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei asking him to reopen dialogue or risk military action. When the letter's details are still private, it took only 2 days for the Iranian leader to reject the outreach. Mr. Khamenei said some bullying governments insist on talks not to resolve the issue but to impose their deals. Iran's reaction is not entirely surprising. In 2013, Tehran had taken Barack Obama's overtures quite seriously. Mr. Khamenei had fully backed the Hassan Rouhani president's bid to negotiate with the West, and they had reached a result-oriented agreement which cut Iran's path toward nuclear weapons in return for the lifting of the international sanction. Now, when the American leader who demolished the functional agreement reaches out to them, the Iranians are skeptical for obvious reasons. Yet there is a compelling argument to retake the path of diplomacy. In 2018, Mr. Trump imposed the maximum pressure. Iran responded with maximum resistance. This mutual brinkmanship escalated regional tension. Saudi Arabia oil facilities come under attack. Iran should shut down on an American drone. The USA assassinated General Qasem Soleimani, and Tehran retaliated with a missile strike on an American base in Iraq, while Mr. Trump's White House Act in 2021 appeared in the hope that the nuclear deal could be revived under the Biden administration. It did not happen over the 4 years. The reason has been dramatic development. Today, Iran is weaker than what it was in 2020. Israel war against Hamas and Hezbollah was weakened the axis of resistance. Last year saw Israel and Iran exchange attacks. The fall of Syria saw regime Tehran only state ally in West Asia. In December 2024, shrank Iran's strategic depth in a holistic region. The country is also at deep economic pain, and the Israelis seems willing to take great military risk, providing they have American backing amidst challenges. Iran reported possesses enough high-grade fuel to produce weapons. Mr. Trump has acknowledged this with his "We are reaching a critical point." The US wants to resolve the nuclear problem, and Iran wants to lasting economic and diplomatic reprisals. Beneath the hostility, there is a strategic possibility to resume dialogue. There is no harm in the Iranians giving it a second chance. The funds are earmarked for the school tour. Know your English. pretext. I hope the new hires are not a bunch of sad sack like the previous time. As Upendra, what is the meaning of earmark? J. Tarambai. In India, this is the word that is frequently heard on television news channel when experts are invited to talk about the budget that the finance minister is likely to present. When the government earmark a certain amount of money for a particular project, for example, it could be a for road widening or for cancer research. It set aside fund to achieve its objective. This amount is put aside is to be used only for the specified project and not for anything else. Earmarking lets people know how the funds will be used. With the passage of time, the world has begun to the use in context other than finance. In everyday context, earmark is used to mean characterize and distinguishing mark. Most people were sad to note that the only 2% of the budget had been earmarked for education. Several hundred crore have been earmarked for cancer research. The beaming minister said that the newly launched car had all the earmark of a classic. The word earmark is a combination of two words error and mark. When it began to be used in the English language, it had nothing to with finance. Believe it or not, it had more to do with framing. In the past, in order to identify his livestock, sheep, cattle, pigs, etc., a farmer would cut or mark the ear of every animal he owned. Every farmer used a different mark, and this helped him avoid unnecessary argument with his neighbors. Why are some people called sad sacks? TV Harish Kochi. First of all, not all dictionaries list this word. The ones that do spell the word differently. Some spell it as one word, sad sack, some as two, sad sack, while others hyphenate it, hyphenate it, sad sack. One thinks that all dictionary agree on, however, is that it is a word that is always used in informal context to refer to a clumsy individual is usually a man. When you refer to someone as a sad sack, what you are suggesting is that the person is boring and incapable of doing anything well. Watching the blundering fool in action, you feel pity for him because you realize that he is unlikely to succeed in life. The word can use both as a noun and an adjective. I was shocked to note that the new appointees were nothing more than a bunch of sad sacks. Given our talent, don't expect anything great. It is likely to be sad sacks performance. Upendra. So guys, this is our today daily quiz. A quiz on the movements which countered the rise of fascism in different parts of the world. Quiz made by Vasudevan Mukhand. Question number 1. The Dash 1936-1939 anticipated many of the characteristics of the World War II, including the cross ideology opposition to fascism as a state ideology in the former. However, the anti-fascist forces lost, paving the way for a controversial 30-year dictatorship. Fill in the blank. Question number 2. What is the two-word label given to the ideology that draw from both centralism and fascism? The label whose use to controversial native when social democrats, liberals, and other similar political groups used it to describe the regressive aspect of Stalinism. Question number 3. While the X movement share its name with what that of the organization founded during the Weimar Republic, it had different roots, including from the late 1980s, the practice of squatting in West Germany. Name X. Question number 4. A particular minor strike in March 1921 in the Iranian Peninsula is often regarded as the world's first anti-fascist uprising. On March 7, workers in many mines in the area assumed control of their management and proclaimed the area to be new republic. What was this republic called? It existed for 1 month. Question number 5. In 1945, 4 countries established a joint tribunal that conducted the event no popularity as the dash. It lasted from the November 1945 to October 1946, and among other things helped delegitimize fascism as a criminal ideology. Fill in the blanks. Visual question. This is the seal of the USA Senate. Name the symbols at the bottom displaying a pair of boundary of wood with an X passing through and emerging from the top. The word fascism came from his symbol's name because of the frequent use of by Mussolini. This is previous day quiz answer question and answer to the March 7 editions of the daily quiz. This event was started by a massive movement lead protest on March 18, 1970 in Petrograd, now St. Petersburg, Russia. Answer is February Revolution. This Indian social reformer and educationist co-founded the first school for girls in Pune along Answer Savitribai Phule. The West Asia's countries are tens of thousands of women protest against newly imposed compulsory valizing law. Iran. This pioneering scientist became the first woman win a Nobel Prize. A Marie Curie Skłodowska. This person's Kenya environmentalist and women's rights activist become the first African woman to be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Answer Wangari Maathai. Visual. This Chinese writer and the feminist was a leading figure in 20th century Chinese literature. However, her activism later led to persecution during this Chinese political event and answer Ding Ling Cultural Revolution. This is early word who gives the answer. So guys, this is today our one important vocabulary word is complacency. This is a noun. Hindi meaning is shalinta, atam santosh, self satisfaction, especially when accompanied by unaware of actual danger or deficiency. Synonymous comfort, easy. Antonyms humility, diffidence. Example stand. This bundle's complacency was due to policy, not weakness. So guys, this is today video. Please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel for further more update and more video. Press bell icon for notification. Thanks for watching. We meet in tomorrow or next video. Jai Hind.